has dismissed allegations made in a viral video by the military leader of Niger Republic, General Abdurrahman Tiani, claiming what the federal government called a non-existent collusion between Nigeria and France to destabilize his country. A statement by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris. These claims exist solely in the realm of imagination, as Nigeria has never engaged in any overt or covert alliance with France or any other country to sponsor terrorist attacks or destabilize the Niger Republic in the wake of the undemocratic change in that country. The minister says President Bola Tinubu, as chairman of ECOWAS, has demonstrated exemplary leadership, keeping the doors of the sub-regional body open to re-engage the Niger Republic, despite the political situation in that country. He said Nigeria remains committed to fostering peace, harmony, and historic diplomatic ties with Niger. Mr. Idris also said Nigeria's armed forces, in collaboration with partners in the multinational joint task force, are succeeding in curbing terrorism within the region. He said President Tiani's allegations are not only unfounded, but a dangerous attempt to divert attention from his administration's shortcomings. Now, for more on these allegations, public affairs analyst Femi Lawson joins me on the news this hour. Good to have you join us. I mean, these are really weighty allegations, and Nigeria has also responded. What do you make of the allegation and Nigeria's response?
Thank you, Precious. The allegations, I want to align my opinion with that of the presidency that they are unfounded, especially for anyone who actually understands the history of Nigeria and Niger. And it is very unfortunate that this is coming up, possibly because of the posture of the incumbent administration in Nigeria to the military junta in Niger, because if not for that, the history of our relationship as a country with Niger suggests that Nigeria would do nothing to undermine the sovereignty of Niger, because this is a country that is virtually seen as part of Nigeria. If you look at even when there are conflicts in Nigeria from the Civil War days and the likes, Niger have always played critical roles. And for anyone who has been to Niger, I've been there on a number of times, I can confidently tell you that culturally, in area of language, in actual fact, when you're on the street of Niamey, it looks so much like you're on the streets of Sokoto or Kano. That is how much of connectivity we have with Niger as a country. So raising such alarm, I think it's unfounded, because not only do we have a very strong population of Nigerians in Niger, we have a strong economic tie with the country. And you see, the fact that the current administration in Nigeria is opposed to the military administration in Niger may be responsible for this alarm that has been raised. That nonetheless, I think it is not enough for us as a big brother to just chastise the administration in the military junta in Niger, but rather let the junta understand that Nigeria has a lot more, not now, from history to share with Niger, and Nigeria will not undermine the sovereignty of Niger.
But Mr. Lawson, sorry to butt in, but beyond the posture of the president, that President Tinubu, to the military leadership, in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. But I also remember, some days ago, that the alliance of the Sahel states, that's the alliance of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, also, while rejecting a timeline that was set by ECOWAS, also accused France and what they call its auxiliaries of trying to destabilize the alliance. It would also seem as though these countries take issues with the fact that the president's state visit to France. It looks like that did not go down well with these countries.
Of course, they cannot determine where the president of Nigeria goes. They cannot determine the bilateral agreement. And Nigeria is a sovereign state, and the Nigerian government and the Nigerian president can engage in bilateral agreement with any country, be it France, America, or any other country. But the fear is that Nigeria being, a major player in the sub-region, now, the president visiting France and some of the positive outcome of that visit of Mr. President to France may be frightening to the military junta, particularly in Mali, and Burkina Faso, the Francophone countries that are now under the, rule of military junta against the wishes and aspirations of their colonial authority, that is France. So you cannot rule out the fact that these countries' leadership that are currently being headed by military junta will be scared. But I think Nigeria cannot be railroaded into perpetually aligning with even people who have on their own said they are seceding from the ECOWAS. So for me, rather than trying to scapegoat Nigeria because of the visit of Mr. President to France and the possible bilateral agreement between Nigeria and France, they should rather focus internally on what agreement or what relationship they've established with the colonial authorities in the past. And now it may likely have an implication on their sovereignty rather than looking at what the relationship between Nigeria and this and France will bring to affecting them as a sovereign nation. But for me, I think Nigeria as a democratic country, particularly with the current president, who is the President Bola Tinubu, who is a Democrat, and I don't think he will be part of any move to undermine the sovereignty of any nation. For anyone who knows its antecedent.
The presidency has responded. We'll see how this continues to play out, especially with the relations between both countries. Thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure to have you on Public Affairs Analyst, Femi Lawson.
Thank you, Precious.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, says Nigeria military will not spare anybody harboring criminal, as the military is all out to